Greetings and salutations and welcome once again to the Capeless Crusaders live at the time from the Safe House. My name is, of course, David Barry at DR Barry on varying social media platforms. I didn't even check if your plaques were on the right spot, and I got them right.
Nailed it.
Hey, I am the best. So, to my right, I have...
I don't like bullies. I don't care what uniform they're wearing.
This is the Azorian one, Anthony Steves.
That was a quote that is relevant to our topic. Do you have one?
Did I take it?
I can do this all day.
Ooh, that was good.
What's your name?
Oh, I thought you were just like, I could do this all day. I could stall.
That's the quote.
I could stall and not be.
He said it
that's
in.
the quote.
He said it 3 times across the trilogy.
Do this all day.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Twice in the first Avenger and then in Civil War. I don't think he said it in Winter Soldier. Anyway, I am Manderson at Son of Mander on Twitter and Instagram. What kind of
I was kind of getting like beating my chest.
I'm excited to be back. I don't think I've been here in a month.
Yeah,
This is crazy.
Yeah. We almost fired you.
Yeah, considered it.
Yeah.
It's true.
Paperwork was drawn.
I almost replaced you with this Chinese knockoff of the Hulkbuster.
I don't know.
Yeah, they got that part right.
Okay.
I half expected to open it up and it just be like Batman's head or something. But,
A Ghostbuster.
yeah.
So I'm a
Slimer.
little bit more useful than a Chinese knockoff of a Hulkbuster.
There you go.
You are. That's your
My
new thing.
mother said it would amount to nothing.
Hey,
It's okay.
wrong, Miss Manderson.
Yeah.
Or
Miss Son of
Yes,
Mander.
yes.
Manderson, the son of the Momderson. So, for anything related to the Capeless Crusaders, you can go to thecapelesscrusaders.com. That is your number one
there.
hub. That is where we have articles, we have previous episodes, we have all sorts of things and fun things. The other thing you can find is links to all of our advertisers, like these guys up here.
Just do this.
Wait, why can't I get my fingers right?
I think that's right.
Here we go.
I think it's right. Oh,
We are supported, of course, by Beard Balm Brush. So, say you're like me, you're working on this sweet, sweet beard, and you're like, I need to do some self-care. Honey, I need to take care of this.
Honey.
I got the oil, I got the balm, I got the brush. There's too many things going on. So instead,
You have to juggle. Are you good at juggling?
juggle all these. I'm okay.
I'm not
But
good at
now,
juggling.
with the Beard Balm Brush, I just go to their website, beardbalmbrush.com. I use the code CAPELESS. I get 15% off a Beard Balm Brush, which is like the oil, the balm, some beeswax, make it into a brush shape. Boom, boom, boom. You know what? Ruru, I understand
That's Tom's problem too.
Ruru, you're Asian and you can't grow a beard. That's what you just said. That's okay. Buy it for a friend who can grow a beard.
There you
Or
go.
use it, I don't know, it might be good in your hair. I have no idea.
I mean, a beard is hair, so.
Yes, exactly.
I was on their website the other day.
Oh, were you?
And they have like a pocket knife version. So it's just like this tiny little travel
Like
thing.
flip out?
I don't know if I think it's just
those
it's
combs
more
you get?
compact. So it comes in a tin. You can pop it open while you
Nice.
say. I mean, if you're going a beard, you're manly and rugged. You're probably backpacking.
That's true.
So while you're backpacking, you just pull it out in the trail and comb it through while you're going. I mean, that's what you're going to do, right?
That's what I do on the regular.
Or you're wearing a flannel and listening to Mumford and Sons.
Yeah, also that one. Yeah, or you work in a coffee shop.
Yeah, too. You're a barista.
You're a hipster. We are also sponsored by Computer Rooter, local computer repair, retro video game store, and video game lounge. They have tournaments. They've actually started being bigger on the Instagram now. So they do giveaways, all kinds of stuff. You can get 10% off your purchase if you mention us. Hey,
10%?
say you are into more like 15%. You're like a 15% kind of guy.
Oh, yeah.
And you also like Dungeons and Dragons.
I do.
Well, if you go to thecriticaldice.com.
.com.
Thank you. Critical Dice, thecriticaldice.com. Use the code CAPELESS, get 15% off. Get some dice, get some books, get some hooks, get some...
Shooting dice.
Yeah, get some shooting dice.
They have Lego instructions on how to build a Lego dice tower
Ooh.
on there. That's free. So
that's a
you get
thing.
that for free.
You don't even need to use the code for that one.
Yeah. I mean, you can.
You could.
You don't get anything extra free.
You could also... Say you just like us and you want to throw some money our way. You could hit the donate button down below. You could hit the subscribe button up above. You could go to the Patreon. You can give us money monthly because you think we're worth...
Awesome.
Yeah, something. So...
Sergeant Squiggles, what do you like to hook them with?
Meat hook.
That'll do it.
Ow.
Hang them from the ceiling.
Ooh.
Bleed them dry.
Leatherface, he did that.
Welcome to the podcast.
Just got dark.
On this week's
It's like a
episode...
DC
Not in
show.
October yet.
Yeah. From the DC universe. Yeah. On this week's episode, we're of course going to go around the horn. We're going to talk about what comic books we have been reading this week. We're going to talk about some news. And then our main topic for the evening. Right there. Right there. Not right there.
Not
Here, let me
prepared,
just,
I'm
let me
sorry.
just put this over here. There we go. The Sentinel of Liberty. Captain American 101. We will be telling you everything you need to know. I mean, allegedly, about
I mean,
Steve Rogers.
it's a 101. It's
the basics.
yeah,
If you're not in
It's all
class,
on
that's
everything you need to know to get started.
don't be tardy.
That's a really good way of putting it, because that makes sure that covers our butts if we miss something. So, when we are in the safe house.
We are.
When we literally have 5 bootleg Hulkbusters lined up.
They're staring at me.
Can we disappointment cam? Because I feel like they could see that.
If
From this.
let's see if they can.
Oh yeah.
There you
Oh,
go.
look right
There you
here.
go.
Here they are. See that?
All
5, and then a tall one.
And they're all disappointed. Disappointed.
They're all disappointed. They're you shaking your head. Nothing I returned about.
It's late.
So, when we're surrounded by bootleg action figures, and when Manderson shakes his head meaninglessly, that means we need to go round the horn.
What you mean they got no more moonshine?
Jeez. Hopefully the baby was not asleep at that point.
Moonshine?
She shouldn't be. It's 8:15.
Oh.
Anyway, so when we go around the horn, we go around the table in a circular fashion, except for the fact that we no longer have a circular table. It's not a thing. And I don't even think it was. But we talk what comic books we have been reading this week. My list, once again, is kind of redonkulous. So,
Redonkulous.
Steve,
Ah.
what did you read?
Pass.
You can say what you read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I read the first 6 issues of Deadly Class.
Oh,
I
that's a
did
good
that too.
series. That's a good. Oh,
That's
great.
a
You
great
did too.
Yeah.
Oh. Great.
It's like we're going to be talking about it at some point.
What?
Some point in the future.
Well, I'm proud of you guys for doing the reading assignment that we didn't do tonight.
It was very good.
It is.
Yeah,
Yes.
I recommend. I'm more excited about the show now.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
It is going to be a show.
Yeah.
Yes. Nice.
Sci-fi.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and
There-
I just blanked on the writer's name. He's involved.
Remender?
Rick Remender is heavily involved.
What a
I'm,
name. What a name.
I am interested to see how they do certain scenes in
Yeah.
live action.
Yeah.
So
We can't say more because we have to
Yeah,
dedicate
we
that to an
can't.
episode.
Yeah.
So we'll go to the Encyclopedia of Comics.
That's me.
Yeah.
Encyclopedia Comica.
I read more. Wait, do you want me
Britannica.
to go before you, or do you want to? Go
Oh, wait,
back?
I thought that's all you said.
No.
That's just me. That's
I
just me.
mean, I did. I had all last week off with the kids, so you think I did a lot of reading. I didn't get to do as much reading, but I did
I'm
read.
the same, like, so I didn't parent at all.
I did read Legion of Doom #1, aka Justice League #5.
Oh.
Which
Got it.
Yeah, which I thought was very, very good.
Yeah.
As,
Kind of a disappointment though, in that you were like so excited for more, and then it was just kind of like a back in time.
yes,
So it was good,
But, yeah.
but you want more of the story.
it felt like an issue 1.
Yeah.
Even though it was issue 5.
It was
So like I thought they did. Yeah, it was a
It's
fantastic job.
it's
And
not Hawkins.
the Super Sons are back.
What is that called?
The Adventures
The
of the
Adventures
Super
of the
Sons.
Super Sons.
12 issue
12 issues.
run. Read issue
Interesting.
#1 of that. It'll be good, I'm sure. I was not. I got done with the first one. Like, okay. I was like hyped because I was excited it was back, and then it was kind of. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't what I expected it to be. And what would you read?
I read so much stuff.
You did. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, Sergeant Squiggle says if you name your kid Rick Remender, he's either going to create comics or be a serial killer. Really, his only 2 options accurate.
Rick Remender.
Or both.
both.
Yeah, we don't know. He writes some pretty messed up stuff. It might be based on fact. So, things that I read in preparation for tonight, I read Captain America 1 and 2.
Nice.
The new current run being done by Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yes.
And I'm blanking on the artist all of a sudden. I know Alex Ross is doing the covers.
Oh yeah, those covers are great. I read the first one, but that was last month.
Where's that GIF when you need that thing?
I know. It is so... it is only 2 issues in. It is so good. So...
I gotta read that.
I'm all about it. I'm excited. My kid's excited.
Yeah,
as
I
you can
heard.
tell.
Yeah.
She's just like, Dad!
Remember that one time?
Cap!
Yeah.
Anyway, I also read Death of Inhumans, of the Inhumans #2, which is interesting because...
Yes.
Yeah, they're knocking people left and right. Like, most of the Inhumans are dead at this point. It's only 2 issues in.
Oh,
Yeah, it ends with a certain someone being killed in a brutal fashion, and it leaves a heck of a cliffhanger.
Miss Marvel. Is she an Inhuman?
She is, but she's not been in this yet. I think it's mainly the classic Inhumans.
Oh, okay.
And the new humans or whatever. But I think Miss Marvel, since she's like, she's like inhuman, but she's so ingrained in everything else that I don't think they want to. They don't want to touch her because they, if they killed her, people would be upset.
Are they like killing all the Inhumans because of how bad the series did on ABC?
I think that's part of it actually, because now the X-Men, all of a sudden the X-Men comics are doing well again. They're like, well, just kill all the die. Justice League 3 through 5. So I also caught up on Justice League, which is great now. I'm on the edge of my seat. I really want to know what is not right now.
Okay.
I mean, you could be. There you go.
Okay. All right.
I really want to know what's going to happen. I'm excited. I'm interested. I'm into it. Multiple Man number 2. Also, if you're a fan of like the continuity that DC has built, you're like, I love that they're on issue 50 something and everything's all connected and it's great. If you're looking for something that's just like wacky off the wall and only going to be 6 issues long, Marvel's got what you need. Like Multiple Man is just this random little offshoot about Multiple Man, and it's hilarious. I'm so into it. I also read Exiles 3 through 5. Saladin Ahmed, who just won an Eisner for Best New Series.
Nice.
Exiles takes place outside of the normal dimension. They're exiled from their universe, and they're going to defend the multiverse. It is awesome. New Mutants Dead Souls number 5, also awesome. Mr. Miracle 5 through 10,
Nice.
so awesome.
I need to catch that.
It's going to hit you in the dad.
Okay.
It's going to hit you hard in the dad.
Dad feels.
It hit me hard in the dad.
Ow.
I'm all about it. And then Venom number 4. And Venom is just like crazy good. Exactly. Like that's my kid knows what's up. My kid, the dad feels.
She's flipping out how good it is.
The dad.
I can't help right now because I see Venom and I think of not just the movie that's coming out soon, but that if you guys have seen the image someone has taken where what if Venom had pupils?
Yeah, they put the googly eyes on. Yeah.
So not so scary suddenly. It just I'm Venom. What's going on, guys?
So
Baby did not like the
no, the
googly
baby
eyes.
was not.
Not a fan.
She
of
was
googly
not
eyes.
a fan of
Googly eye.
Googly eye
the
Venom.
googly eye. I kind of freaked her out. But so that Venom being in the news,
Yes,
also leads us on to
Mr. Hardy.
the news. Where's the button?
Oh.
There it is.
The entire state of California is on fire.
Alex Jones, whatever.
Far off.
Yeah, dude, it smells like bad pipe tobacco outside, like all the time.
There's like vampire moon right now.
I'm
Yeah.
all about
red.
it. I'm all about it. So, in the news last week, but we didn't have an episode, so I still wanted to talk about it. Zack Snyder confirmed that, in fact, the dead Joker in Batman vs Superman
Robin.
is not. Sorry,
But I did right.
that's how I feel about it. That's why I really.
So many Jokers.
The dead Robin killed by Joker is in fact not Jason Todd. It is Dick Grayson.
Ooh.
And he
Yeah,
did
that
so,
seems weird.
like he posted a picture on that stupid social media website that he's involved with. And
Vero, I tried downloading
and,
it.
Vimo.
and
Vimo.
someone, we're
Vimo.
just gonna diaper change. That's why she's flipping out right now. That's the worst. I hate having my diaper changed. I feel you.
Before I got here.
Nah, it's smart. You have one of those like long lasting ones. Anyway, yeah. So it's Dick Grayson, and someone was like, oh, Jason, and he at the end just said Richard.
Yeah, I'm not. Nope.
That was
Nope.
So, question.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Isn't there supposed to be a Nightwing movie?
Yeah.
If Dick Grayson is dead,
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's dumb.
who's Nightwing?
Stupid.
well, I don't think you understand that rather than creating a cohesive universe, DC is just like,
Lob it up in there.
here's a Joker movie done by Joaquin Phoenix. It's going to have Mark Maron and Robert De Niro. So it's like going to have these great actors. Oh, by the way, that's news. But
Scorsese producing.
Yeah.
yeah, but instead they're just like,
I don't.
yeah, it's awful.
What? Why make the best Robin that Batman has ever had, the one who goes off on his own,
Damien's
becomes
not dead.
Nightwing? Huh?
I've never heard anyone say Damien's the best Robin. He's
him.
good.
And he's good. Yes. The only one who's worthy of wearing the cape and cowl. And you know what? The first time we bring Batman into this, universe, let's kill the best Robin. Let's have him dead already. Stupid.
Oh, is that what our problem is?
Yeah, and I hate. We need Dick Grayson needs to be in the dang universe and have his own series instead of Snyder, who typically I can defend him sometimes.
I mean, but
but
if that's
no.
what Snyder says,
I don't care.
Maybe that's what his intention was. So that doesn't necessarily have to be the direction they have to go.
Exactly. I don't like. I love Watchmen. I don't like this statement. Okay. Dick Grayson's dead.
You okay?
No, I like Dick Grayson.
Apparently.
Except for that new version of him on the thing that the Batman.
Oh yeah. I was about to say, I'm like, what are you going for here? Which one do you not like?
Batman. That's a wannabe Dick Grayson. That's not a real Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, ignore that. I know. I just needed to make sure. So
Hey, we're following ourselves.
yeah, we're the best.
Thank you, Kyron.
Kyron likes Nightwing. So I think Nightwing is fantastic. I think they're just all over the place with all of their Robins and all their characters because DC is just
Lobbing
doing
him
what
up.
they want.
Lobbing him up.
Is it
Yeah.
really DC's fault or is it
It's Warner Brothers.
WB's fault?
Yeah,
It's Warner
but in
Brothers.
theory, the problem is they are the same. They are one and the same.
Like Marvel, Disney.
Yeah, well, I mean, but Marvel and Disney only recently became, joined at the hip.
Yeah.
In other news, speaking of Marvel,
Yeah.
speaking of bad hips,
Oh. Do they lie?
I mean, I don't know, it's Stan. Stan Lee, it is now confirmed he will no longer perform any public autograph signings.
No more sighting.
He will do private events, it sounds like.
Screw it.
But conventions and public autograph signings.
If you would like to go to GoFundMe.com/The Capeless Crusaders, we are now raising money so that we can get a private signing.
Oh,
You gotta make.
I gotta make a GoFundMe.
Someone get
It's
on that.
not really. Sorry, it's not really. Thanks.
Tom,
Sorry, guys.
get on that.
Someone work on that GoFundMe so we can get a private signing.
The Capeless who?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're big fans of Kevin Smith. But yeah, so I mean, we were actually at the convention that kind of spurned a lot of people to suddenly voice the concern for Stan, because we were at Silicon Valley Comic-Con and they had him away from all the other signings. They get him easy access up and down the elevator, and there were video. He did not look good. But I mean, then again, when you watch like his videos on Twitter, on Instagram and stuff, he doesn't look good. But he's still happy, I mean, with all the stuff that's going on, he's still on there. He's still thanking his fans. He's still very aware. Like it's awesome. Like I love Stan, and I'm glad that he's going to take this time. Finally, the man is he's closer to 100 than he is to anything else, and except maybe like the next whatever. But he's pretty close to 100. I mean, and I want him to live a long and happy nightlife.
Nightlife. A happy nightlife.
A happy nightlife. I want him to be like,
I'm going to be out with the ladies.
Anyway. TL Sharpshooter said, I would have liked a Red Hood and the Outlaws show instead. I mean, if they're going to go with Angry Robin anyway, that is a very valid
There's
point.
an Angry Robin already. Use that one.
I think Red Hood and
you
the
mean
Outlaws could have gotten
Two.
so... I mean, let's be serious. Red Robin's not exactly happy right
That's
now.
it's fair, yeah.
Red Hood and the Outlaws would have been an awesome show
Yeah.
to put on their network because it would have fit in with the vibe. And Nathaniel the Brave said, how do you know Tom was at my place? He heard you.
We're psychically connected.
So here's what I want to know. Corey, why are you watching and Tom isn't?
Tom.
Started a podcast.
Hi, my best friend.
Shut up. Stanley partying at a club called Excelsior. Accurate. In other news, so at this point, I'm sure you're aware of what happened to James Gunn.
What?
Yeah, things have happened. But the entire cast, and I assume the crew, has all expressed their support, their backing of their fearless leader. And that being said, Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista. Exactly. Dave Bautista.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, there he is. That phrase. Anyway.
Well done.
Thanks, Tom.
So Dave Bautista basically said that he was behind Gunn 100% of the way. And then today, I believe it was today, in an interview, he basically said that he said he knows he's contractually obligated. Legally, he will do what he has to do. But if Disney tries to scrub James Gunn from the series by tossing his script, Bautista will ask to be released from his contract, and he wants Drax recast at that point.
After he Batista bombs whatever Disney figurehead in front of him through a table.
Yeah, to put the mouse through a table.
Put the mouse through a table.
Yeah.
Maybe a-
Exactly. Which we've already had multiple conversations about this. We feel that
Oh no!
Sharpshooter, that's a terrible idea. Sharpshooter just said they're going to get Zack Snyder to do Guardians.
You stop it right now.
we actually said that if
We don't want a dark Guardians.
if Marvel can't, or if Disney doesn't pick James Gunn up, Warner Brothers needs to be like, hey, James Gunn,
Come on over.
come on over, bud.
Booster Gold.
Yeah,
Booster Gold. Here we go. Here we
Booster
go.
Gold. Justice League Dark. I feel. But so I'm happy to see, because it does. It's trolling and hate mongering is what got James Gunn fired, and it was all for the wrong reasons, and it basically shows there's no reason to grow and change as a person and learn from your mistakes.
And to the morons who might be out there and be like, well, if they let him come back, they have to let Roseanne come back. No, like you just said.
I just said.
These are things Gunn said
You did say things.
10 years ago,
Yeah.
and has changed the person since he said those things. He's
Right.
changed completely.
Right.
Roseanne has not changed
Okay.
since tweets back in
it's getting
2009.
It's getting
Okay?
intense.
When she did a shoot where
Does feel like
she
camping.
had a Hitler mustache and had Jewish gingerbread men on cookie sheets. Because that's comedy, supposedly. Actual thing she did. She hasn't changed. So don't compare those two.
That being said, it doesn't matter because all the Guardians got snapped. You're not wrong. Actually, it's gonna be a Nebula movie.
Nebula
Rocket's
and
alive.
Rocket and
yeah.
Nebula.
Rocket
I would
Nebula.
watch that buddy comedy. I'd be all about that. And then in our last bit of news, which isn't really news, but it's so much as Cloak and Dagger Season 1 has wrapped.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted us to give a quick spoiler-free mini review.
Steve, you want to start us off?
Yeah, so there's someone wearing a cloak and some guys hold a dagger.
Well, no, you were close, except for the fact that the dagger is holding is a woman.
What?
The dagger holder,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She's holding a dagger.
Yeah, good job.
That was better than I could hope for.
Proud of you. Anyway.
Got it. Cloak and dagger.
You son of a
How many
bitch.
capes did you,
There it is.
That was good.
There it is.
how many capes did you get? Let's start off with that.
Yeah, how many capes?
There's above 2.
Out of 10, it's a rating.
Oh, rating. I thought how many capes were in the series.
One cloak and 2 capes.
I'm gonna give it 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it 7.5.
7.5
cloaks out of 10.
7.5 cloaks.
Gotta take it to cloaks. I'd probably go with.
I give it 3 daggers. What does that mean?
You
I'll
know
tell you
what?
later.
I'm gonna give it 3 daggers and 4 cloaks.
Which equals 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, well, I thought it wrapped well, and the front half was well. There were a few episodes, and I was like, eh.
Yeah, it kind of started to drag. We did learn, small spoiler, that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is tied into the Netflix universe in that one of the cops knows Misty Knight. That's it. It's not like Iron Fist pops in. He's like, hey, I'm funny. It just
Curly hair.
Yeah.
No, I
he's
don't know how
he's
to
not
fight.
funny. Yeah.
He's not funny.
So I enjoyed a lot of it. It got surprisingly dark for me, and actually kind of got my anxiety going. I didn't think Freeform would go the way they went with some of it.
Yeah.
And this is why I was very surprised by how many people were like really enjoying the series. Because when I first heard Cloak and Dagger, all right, Freeform. Oh,
Yeah.
that's like cable CW.
The channel that shows Harry Potter all the time?
Yeah,
which I love Harry Potter.
Yeah, but their shows are
Because it
not
used
like.
to be ABC Family.
Yeah, exactly. You get Harry Potter, then the 700 Club.
No, man, they went...
How? How does that happen?
Witchcraft and then evangelism.
So when I heard the commercial, I'm like, oh, this might not be the same level as the Marvel and Netflix. But then these
like
guys are like saying it's amazing.
I stopped watching Luke
I didn't say
Cage
amazing.
I mean, well, good. Excuse me. Good.
to watch this. I haven't finished Luke Cage.
I'm
season
catching
2
up
yet.
on Luke. I'm almost
So
I'm still behind.
I thought it was better enough to keep me hooked for
Okay.
it. And they did 10 episodes instead of 13, which I think was smart. They probably could have done more with it. And they definitely hooked you back for a second season at the end really well. I think, like we said, it did go dark, but I don't think it went like super depressingly dark like they could have gone. I think they dealt with some issues that are dark.
Yeah.
And they showed the some of the storytelling was interesting in a way that it was like, okay, I can see why they're placing certain people in places the way they are. Like the episode where the teacher is talking about the hero's narrative, and you're seeing certain parts of that play out, was really creative, and there was very little like obvious linear storytelling. There was a lot of like, we're here, we're telling this part, and then we're jumping over here. My hands are off the screen, but it was never disconnected though either. You always knew where things were and what was happening. They did a very good job with the storytelling. It did drag a couple times.
So, like, okay, I'm a fan of the Marvel Netflix shows and the DC CW shows, but I'll be the first to tell you that Marvel's Netflix shows are so much better than the DC CW shows. Would Cloak and Dagger be Marvel's CW show?
I would say a little more towards the Netflix on the scale, but yes, in that it deals with
the teen angst.
Yeah, some of it, like the teen angst is part of it, but it also deals with even more adult issues in a lot of ways. Okay. But yeah, also Tim's Woodworking is here in the chat, and he's here to troll. So someone ban him. Ban him.
Bye, Tim.
Ban. No, don't. No, we love Tim. Don't ban Tim.
We're joking.
Don't ban Tim. That about wraps it up for the news. But we do have let's see.
Get the hammer.
Get the hammer. Where is it? It's up there. It's up there. It makes lightning. Don't grab it because the whole shelf will fall down. Fall. Yeah, IKEA. I mean, Squiggles. I know this podcast doesn't revolve around old Squiggles. But can I request a podcast topic if you haven't done already? I'd love an episode that is a beginner's guide to getting back into comics if you haven't been in the shops in like 15 years. I love that idea.
Me too.
I love that idea. We are gonna work that in, Squiggles. You know what? It doesn't revolve around you, but when you give great ideas, we revolve around you. I don't know.
We dance around.
We dance. Yeah, we dance around you and
Jesse, I don't dance.
Jesse.
Because there are two types of beings in this universe. Okay. Those that dance and those do not.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Drax. Thanks, man. But yeah, I love that idea. We'll have to write that down. Oh. And Tim has some news. He has something for us. Is it bootleg Chinese? Iron Man? No? Oh, Glenn Kane Jacobs elected mayor. Yeah. Yeah, because apparently that town doesn't... They think that wrestling is real. Anyway.
I'm waiting for a run in the state of the town.
Yeah, the fact that he played his entrance music.
I'm surprised the mask wasn't on.
Yeah, right. And then I'm surprised when he said, rolling. And then
Brothers of Destruction.
Undertaker just rides down with the American flag leading the parade. Anyway, to our main topic.
What's that
for the evening? I don't know if you could see the thing up there, but Captain America 101.
There it is.
That is what, yeah. There you go.
Where is it?
There it is. 101, which is your introduction to Captain America. Everything you need to know to get a nice jump off to learn about the Sentinel of Liberty, a.k.a. Steve Rogers, and a bunch of other people at varying points. So,
but we're focusing on the Rogers,
We're focusing on Steve Rogers, though a lot of the other Caps are in his allies and his friends, and looks like Manderson didn't get the Cap memo, says Kyron in the chat.
I just grabbed the shirt that was on top of the pile. That's how I work.
Wow. Okay.
So, also, I wore... all my Cap shirts are dirty because I wore them.
That's true. He was partying up in them
week.
Because he was just like Cap.
Yeah.
Cap.
You go to the club wearing Cap shirts.
Yeah.
That's
he goes to Club Excelsior.
That's what it is.
He's on stand.
We're Stan and I hang out.
Yeah, that's us going back to that joke from a while back. Anyway, let me take you back all the way to March 1941. I was born in March, but in '89, not in '41. So. Captain America, a.k.a. Steve Rogers. The first appearance was in Captain America Comics #1. It was printed by Timely Comics, who was the predecessor to Marvel Comics. Now, obviously, in March 1941, stuff was happening in the world. I don't know if any of you history buffs are out there, but we kind of had let's call it a scuffle.
There was something going on.
Scuffle.
We were kind of in it, but not quite fully in it yet.
It basically involved the world for a second time.
Chess tournament.
It didn't involve actually the whole world, but
World Cup.
A lot of the world. Exactly.
World Cup.
Exactly. And Portugal lost. As they always do. Actually, how many of you won?
That was a low blow.
We won the Euro Cup.
That's cool.
Once, yeah, we've never... But, Italy's won 4 times.
There you go. Anyway. So, global disagreement number 2.
Yes, global disagreement number 2.
Yeah, that is accurate.
That's worth referred to as.
There were good people on both sides. So that's you're gonna. Anyway, Captain America was he was a propaganda hero. Obviously, he was the truth, justice, the American way. Even though that's Superman.
Wait a second.
He was created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. A lot of people, for whatever reason, I mean, I know why. A lot of people think that Stan Lee was involved in the creation of Captain America. You would be wrong. Stan, though he created the majority of the Marvel Universe, Cap had already been created, and he came on later to write him. When he worked along with Jack Kirby on that. So just know, Joe Simon, Jack Kirby were the creators. Issue number 1 sold nearly 1 million copies. And it famously showed Captain America punching out Adolf Hitler.
He did about 1,000 times.
Exactly. He did.
I feel like 1 million copies in 41 is a pretty big deal.
Yeah. That also, someone would tell you, they were also on newsstands, though. They were in drugstores. They were in a lot of ways more accessible than they are today. In some ways, obviously, like that. That discussion is, and if you saw that, if you were a patriotic American, if you supported the war effort,
what's going on over there.
Exactly, you would be picking that up even as an adult, maybe to be like, oh, I'm gonna flip through this funny book, see what this Captain America is all about.
Punching Hitler, look at that.
Punching Hitler,
I
like
like
this guy. Sorry, I don't know.
Is that how Hitler sounds?
That's how he spoke when he was doing the speeches.
Yeah, I wasn't going for Hitler. I was actually going for this is the person who's reading the magazine, like, but whatever.
Smoking a cigar whilst
Exactly. Blow it in the kid's face.
Here, look, Steve Rogers.
Here's a nickel. Give me a Coke and a bag of peanuts, and he pours it in the. Give me a pop of the Coke.
Groucho Marx reading.
Exactly. This has gotten weird. So. Things you need to know about Captain America. You need to know who his friends and who his enemies were. So, allies of the Sentinel of Liberty with Mr. Anthony Steves. Who we got?
So first up, we got James Barnes, as we come to know him as Bucky.
Bucky.
Yes.
James Buchanan Barnes.
James Buchanan Barnes. Yeah. We've got Agent Peggy Carter. The show that I really enjoyed that was on ABC. Very sad that it's gone. Made ever so popular by the one, the only Anthony Mackie, cut the check, Sam Wilson, a.k.a. Falcon.
Going full Cheadle on this one.
Full Cheadle on this one.
Put your sunglasses on. The Russos want Denzel. Sorry, I just watched that over and over. It was so good. Yeah, anyway.
She had so many names.
Yeah,
I swear.
yeah.
Natalia Alionova Romanova.
Yeah.
Or Natasha Romanoff, excuse me.
Yeah.
Black Widow.
When
Scarlet.
did they make that change?
I don't know.
Okay.
I want to say Natalia
I think
Alionova Romanova.
I guess
Italian?
in theory, I don't know. In theory, it could have been whatever because Natalia Alionova Romanova, that's her born name. Natasha Romanoff is like her secret name, and then Black Widow is obviously her code name. So it's kind of like not exactly
It could
sure.
be all the things.
Exactly.
Okay.
We could look it up on Wikipedia right now, but I don't want to.
Okay, not doing it. Who Scarlett played, of course, in the films. And we have Miss Sharon Carter. Yes. She was the niece?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Niece of Peggy Carter,
Agent
who we
13.
saw in Civil War, Agent 13. Forgot the actress's name, but I'll work on it. And, of course, we have the Avengers and the various iterations of the Avengers.
Yeah. Cap was, he was not in the first Avengers comic, I should say. The Avengers were, of course, originally Iron Man, Ant-Man, Wasp, Thor, Hulk, but they defrosted Cap, and he joined.
And Ant-Man was not Lang. It was
question.
I have no question.
Hank Pym. You were like, I think you were looking. You were like, huh?
Amy said we were lacking eye contact, so I was making eye contact with the camera.
Excuse me?
Is this enough?
Is this enough eye contact for you?
Deep into your
I bet the audio podcast has no idea what we're talking about.
Is it awkward when I just keep looking
That's the glory of being on the audio side. You don't see all the awkward things that we do.
Constant eye
You just
contact
hear.
with everything.
Okay, sit down.
Okay, sorry.
Sit down. Yeah, jeez. Giving instructions right now? People are a fan, apparently. Yes, this is the ASMR episode, Sharpshooter. And yes, Tim, see what she has wrought. Hey, now that we've gone over his friends, his allies.
And stare deep into your eyes.
Manderson, give us some enemies.
Do the enemies. Well, his number one, the first enemy was Hitler.
Oh, that guy.
He socked him in the jaw over 1,000 times.
Power and the kisser.
Right, yeah.
Which
I appreciate it's on our list because I feel like even though that was in the movie, it's something that most of us wouldn't generally think of today because, well, he's not in most of the comics read anymore.
Yeah.
That leads us to one of the more well-known, words are hard, more well-known, the Red Skull, probably
The second most famous Nazi?
the second most famous, is he?
I mean, in the comic
Nah,
universe.
I mean, I thought it was, okay. all right.
Rommel would be in my opinion.
Hugo
Yeah.
Weaving.
He's not a Nazi.
No, Red Skull.
Got it.
Hugo Weaving.
Yeah.
It's not who he is anymore.
Also, Emily Van Camp was Sharon Carter.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for looking that up.
You're welcome.
In general, just Hydra.
Yeah.
Which I agree with 100%. I think a lot of times you think Hydra versus Shield, but I feel like it's Hydra versus Cap.
Yeah.
And that fits really well. Crossbones is in there. What was that? Was that the Crossbones?
That was the Crossbones.
Oh, okay. Because I never, from the movie, I never really understood it, but in the comics, I understand it more. Arnim Zola, who's probably one of my favorite of his enemies, just because he's so creepy.
Yeah. He's fantastic.
Baron von Strucker, followed by Baron Zemo. Barons don't like Cap.
No.
There were multiple generations of Zemos that did not like
It's
Captain
correct.
America.
Helmut and I just forgot the other one's name.
Frank.
Yeah.
Frank?
But I think the Red Baron, the pizza, I think he's a fan of Cap.
Is that the one who flew the Snoopy's house?
Exactly.
Yes, yeah. Helmut was his best friend in Secret Empire.
Lord Helmet?
I love this direction this went.
Surrounded by.
The Serpent Squad Society, which I am not familiar with at all. And then the Winter Soldier, which is also
an ally.
Ironically,
Interesting.
Wow.
That's going to come on there.
Interesting.
But Serpent Squad and Serpent Society
accents
are all...
You've seen me do D&D. My accents are terrible. Leave me alone.
That's true. The Serpent Squad and Serpent Society, they're all snake-themed, basically. But they're always...
Are they connected to
out
Hydra in
get
some way?
No.
Oh.
Well, you think so. But...
Hydras technically aren't serpents, so I guess that's... Yeah.
Accurate. So... hang on, I'm sorry, I'm reading the things that are in there. Anyway, so... key story arcs and issues.
I think Sergeant Squiggles might be right. If Cap punched a Nazi today, people might get offended.
Because there's very fine people on both sides. See,
I think a lot of people would be like, yeah, punch Nazis, but then there's those people who are like, let people just believe what they believe in, and real Nazis who would be offended.
Accurate.
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is...
punch a Nazi.
Just punch Nazis.
The people who would be offended, we wouldn't care that they were offended.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, I
we
don't
would
care
also...
when most people are offended.
We would
but-
also punch them.
Punch a Nazi.
Yeah.
Hey, kids. Punch a Nazi.
100%. These are your uncles, the Capeless Crusaders. We're all dads, by the way. And,
Punch a Nazi.
Punch Nazis. So, key important stories. Now, since Cap goes back all the way to the 40s, it's one of those characters that it's really easy to just be like, where do I begin? Like, do you really want to go all the way back to 1941 and read some... What's the way to put it? What's the way to put it? No, that writing style. That writing style, it's tough. It's oatmeal. It is dry oatmeal.
First season of Arrow.
Exactly. It's good. It's great, and it's good for you, but it's hard to enjoy just because the way people talk and the way we read and the way we communicate, it's not the same anymore. You know, it's not the way it was, which, I mean, that can be said for the comics in the 80s even. I mean, it's not that crazy. So, I don't know why this one's all the way at the top, because we're going to talk about it later, but a couple important issues, a couple important sections. I'm going to start with the first one, and we're all going to talk about them. He who holds it says comics, but it's supposed to be cosmic cube.
Your computer's like...
Spell correct.
Your computer's...
We're talking about comics.
He's talking about
Cosmic.
comics.
Grab
It's
me
gotta be
that
comics.
cosmic cube right there. No, the little one.
Careful with it.
Oh!
Careful with it.
Like, I have a tiny little cosmic cube here.
Oh my god, careful.
I hold the cosmic cube. So, he who holds the cosmic cube is Tales of Suspense 79 through 81, which is actually the comic that would then become Captain America. Originally, it was Tales of Suspense. Introduced the cosmic cube, which was a source of power that the Red Skull would use in an attempt to change the universe, change reality in order to create his perfect Hydra universe, and Cap had to beat him
That's a Hydra.
to get it back. Exactly. Paper.
They must have the Hydra.
So, obviously a very important little story to read. Again, because the Cosmic Cube has gone on to become an Infinity Stone and the Gauntlet, and it's been used in multiple stories that are going to pop up in here and all these other things. But he holds the Cosmic Cube. Tales of Suspense 79 through 81. Good little, and it's 3 issues.
Yeah, it's not that long.
Nothing crazy.
Come on.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on.
Hey, read 3 issues.
But the next one.
Oh.
The next one is an important one. I'm going to give it to Manderson.
Secret Empire / Nomads. Not the Secret Empire that just was running last year.
Very important.
Okay,
yeah.
Because there's Marvel has done a number of things where they've reused titles, which is fine.
Sometimes it helps add a number. Civil War 1 and 2, that helped.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
I have nothing. Those are the end of statements.
Oh.
You hold the powers of the gods. See? Accents.
There you go.
Not that great.
Just get real quiet. Just get real
The quieter the better.
Anyway, so in this, basically, Captain America Steve Rogers finds out that there's this plot in the American government, and he becomes disenfranchised with America, and so he gives up the mantle and becomes a hero called Nomad. This is actually a story that I am most interested to read, and I didn't get there in my reading to prepare for this. So if you have more details that you want to share, I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah,
for this
no, I don't want
to
to spoil it either. But it came out of the Watergate era, and just because I have news for you guys.
What?
Art is political, and art reflects real life.
What?
Did you know that?
I don't want that in my comics. Get it out now.
Never. I just want My Little
want
Pony.
to read fun stuff.
Yeah. fun stuff. Yeah, I just want Nazis. And cubes. Anyway. So it came out of this whole kind of idea of Watergate and a lot of distrust in the American government. And so the way they wrote it in was this secret empire had infiltrated the country, basically, and had used this plot to take over and take control and become evil.
Do you think Amy means Secret Empire 1? That's probably what she means, right?
You mean Secret Empire, not Secret War.
It's completely different.
What was that? Manderson was just like...
You have the creepy eye in the background.
Yeah, we're not talking about Secret War, Amy. We're talking about Secret Empire. God. Anyway, Secret Empire 1, which has nothing to do with this, where he then goes on to become Nomad.
That would be the second Secret Empire.
Exactly.
Sorry, Empire. There you go.
Yeah. And Kyron thinks Steve Rogers should go back to that 70s Nomad outfit. It was very stylish.
Was it dark? Was it dark suit?
It was like, kind of like a midnight blue.
So there was when he was like the captain, and then there was also the Nomad, which
was the captain one was like the shield looking thing on his chest.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Nomad, the thing is there's been a couple Nomads.
Yeah.
At one point, he basically trains his son in another dimension to also be Nomad. It's weird. Yeah, comic books.
Is that like when Jax went Nomad?
Nothing like that.
Oh, okay.
Nothing like that at all. But that being said, Steve's, this one is for you. What is the next important series that we think they should check out?
What you're looking for is the one
Preach it.
that fuels
Say it.
my favorite Marvel film,
Tell it, Daddy.
The Winter Soldier.
Ed Brubaker.
When you get deep into the story, when Bucky is gone, but now he's back as the Winter Soldier, and the emotion that Steve has to deal with. The Winter Soldier.
Yeah. That is Captain America Volume 5, number 1 through 7.
It was very good.
Yeah.
I just read it
you read
for
it?
this. It was fantastic.
It's such a good
It was
series.
better. The movie's great. It's
of course.
It's my favorite Marvel movie as well. But I feel like it was better. And if you can correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the Marvel / Cap expert here. Bucky had been dead in the comics for like decades at this point.
So James Barnes was dead.
Right,
They had brought back random Buckies, but
Yeah.
he was gone.
And so when they announced like this was a big deal, like a lot of people were kind of up in arms, like you can't bring James Buchanan Barnes back as Bucky.
Right.
you just can't do that. And that's not really what they did, but it was like, you can't bring him back to life.
Yeah.
So people flipped out. I'm sure there were people that were equally like excited to have him back. So I feel like the emotional impact from the movies, it was like just 3 years maybe in between, maybe 4. And it was like decades in between, and so that emotional buildup was just so much larger for it. Oh, that's
2
awful.
things. Yeah, real fast. One, thank you for Kyron, so giving us, so we can see exactly. That's the Nomad costume.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the captain. The captain's where he's based.
Let's see Chris Evans in
black.
that, huh?
Yeah. And then Danderson 11. Why is it that Captain America never gets promoted?
Military humor.
Because he's not actually in the army anymore. I think once they froze him, they were like, "Hey,
He's done.
Maybe his run's done.
I think he's done."
His
And
tour's over.
when he came back, it's like,
Cap?
It's like that awkward scene in Starship Troopers where the guy, he's dead, and they bring his death certificate and they put it on the anyone? No.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
He's in the water tank. He's getting healed up, and
Hey, bro.
Like Luke.
Thanks for joining us.
Is that another son of Ander?
Yeah,
I got
that's my
something
brother.
to say. I'm from Buenos Aires, and I say, kill them all. Yeah. Starship Troopers.
Got it. Okay, you just did a deep cut even for me.
Yeah, sorry. A horrible acting movie. But still fun to watch.
Yeah. In the new Secret Empire DOS, but they didn't actually number it 2.
Yeah.
Secret Empire, more recently.
Yes, this is the one I heard.
Ooh, yeah. It basically had Captain America becoming an agent of Hydra.
Turning heel.
Using, basically, he takes over the country after the physical manifestation of the cube. That's what's really interesting. It basically manifested as a little girl. The original cosmic cube that the Red Skull had creates a perfect world for Hydra. And that perfect world actually doesn't include Red Skull, which I think is actually really interesting. He basically teaches her all about the way Hydra's supposed to be, and then she's basically like, cool, well, you're not part of that. Cap's gonna take you out because Captain America is actually the true, like, he would be the ultimate Hydra agent. People were
Upset?
a little bit upset. That already happened. We already got Chris Evans in the Nomad costume. Thanks, Kyron, for getting right on it with the Facebook.
Nice.
Kyron, also, if you're listening, I completely forgot to get an indie spotlight from you for this week, so I apologize. Anyway, what was I talking about?
Secret Empire.
Secret Empire.
Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cap, he says Hail Hydra. He starts murdering people. People were up in arms.
I read every issue.
I think as far
was
as
very good, though, yeah.
I think as far as story goes, I actually really liked it. The people who were like, "Oh, it's really cheap and it spits on the graves of the creators," I disagree. The people who are like, "Oh, it's lame," like that's just just a cheap. You're looking for a cheap pop, as they call it in the wrestling industry. Yeah. Also lame. Also incorrect. I think it was wonderful.
Story.
It was good nuance.
Kyron, you shouldn't let him off the hook that easily.
Oh, that's that way.
You come down on him hard.
Yeah, meat hook.
Leatherface.
Anyway,
What was that? I was going to actually contribute something positive to that, and I got sidetracked.
Secret Empire.
Cap's a Hydra.
Turning heel.
I was going to ask. I remember when it first came out, you and I had a conversation about him being a Hydra agent, and you made some really good points of why this was different and more significant than previous times where he had been tricked into such things.
Right.
Would you care to unpack that now as well?
I don't remember what they were.
Oh.
Do you remember what they were?
I do. So
Okay, start me out.
in this conversation, we're going to go back in time. This was like the first time I really read a Steve Rogers Captain America comic book. I think maybe I'd been reading the Sam Wilson one at the time because that's when I started getting into Marvel. Anyway, I asked him like, "Hey, is this something like this ever happened before?" And he said, "Oh yeah, he's been like brainwashed in the past or manipulated in some way to doing things for Hydra, but this one was different." And I remember you saying that you appreciated that it was coming back in this way because it wasn't he was brainwashed and you could just unbrainwash him or he was tricked into doing something. This was Kobik, the cube, saw this is how the world is supposed to be. Red Skull's not that guy. Captain America is. And she thought that Hydra's way of thinking was the right way, like the morally right way, the ethical way of thinking. And Captain America was moral and dedicated and ethical and always thought that way. So she made him 100% believe. And it wasn't like, as they told the story, this is beyond our conversation, but like you basically, he believes his history in his head is all this. It wasn't brainwashed, now he's this.
Right.
It's everything that he is now Hydra. And the way they told the story is you come to find out that it's not only him that believes it, but all these other Hydra agents believe that
His
he has
greatest
been
villains.
he has been a sleeper agent this entire time. And the story that, and maybe I'm going too far and I apologize.
No, you're good.
The story in there that made me realize that I was like, oh, it's just not Steve Rogers who believes this, it's all of Hydra, was when he was talking to Baron Helmut Zemo about their past. And like, we did all these things. And I'm like, well, Zemo doesn't remember this. And then at the end, they hug. And it's not like Captain America is hugging him. It's like a full-on hug on both ends.
Bro
And
grab.
you're like, oh, they really are friends. And then it turned around and like either at the end of that issue or next issue, Steve kills Bucky for Helmut.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're my friend too, but he was my original best friend, so I got to do this.
Yeah.
So was I.
And I like that's what made this story so much more like the stakes were higher because I was like, oh, he's brainwashed. You'll just got to get him back and unbrainwash him. I was like, no, he is a Hydra agent. The world has been changed into this.
Right. And which it's interesting because in the end, it wasn't that Steve didn't get reverted back. We have two Steve Rogers now. There's a Hydra Steve in prison,
And then original.
and there is original Steve who basically like came out of him, almost like reborn from a chrysalis of evil.
Which they still haven't continued that angle, have they?
They
it'll probably come
so
back.
in the current story, they basically at one point, who said it? I'm blanking on the character. Someone was basically like, "You're out here, he's in there. Like you're doing all these things, but how do we know who's outside? You know, like how do we know?"
Yeah. Because we had that one really good issue of, it was like almost interrogation where
they're talking
good
to-
Steve is outside, Hydra Steve is in the cell, and they're
Right.
talking back and forth. And I was like, I want to see this continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's we don't know yet what the end game is, but the current Captain America run is dope.
Really good.
It's so good.
Ruru, you're right. They did kind of do that bad guys, good guy kind of stuff. I feel like they're getting away from that and kind of giving us, not in a bad way, a really good way, the classic, the heroes are heroes, the villains are villains.
Right.
And I'm sure they'll get back into some of that gray area again. But, I mean, comics are political, and in an age right now where everything seems to just be so divided and negative, having comics that are coming back to painting a positive picture of those people that we want to look up to, I feel like that's only a good thing. But yeah, I mean, they did do that a lot over Civil War 2 and this kind of back to back was really heavy and kind of like, I don't know what's going on in this
And
universe.
you wanna create your characters to where it's not just they're good, they're bad.
Right.
You go down to what they believe to their core and build their characters from there. Randomly in an interview, Kurt Sutter, creator of Sons of Anarchy, now the upcoming Mayans MC, he talks about the way he creates his characters is it's not so much this guy's a good guy, this guy's a bad guy. He just goes down to their deep core beliefs, how they were raised, and he just basically develops what they are, and you decide basically who is the good, who is the bad. It's all character development, not sides, basically.
Yeah,
And comics are like
it's how you
that.
feel. Yes, and yes, Kyron, Hydra Steve is basically Crystal Pepsi. On that note, the last key story that actually, even though it wasn't the most current, I saved for the end because it actually ties in with our last segment, which is our favorite stories. And I'm going to bump it up now just because it's I'm going to say it. My favorite story, I mean, it's centered around Cap in a lot of ways, was Civil War, followed by the Death of the Dream, followed by the Rebirth. So for those of you unaware, Civil War, the reason we were all freaking out when that movie was made is because we thought Captain America was gonna die. Because at the end of Civil War in the comics, Captain America gives himself up and he is shot when he's being taken to trial. He's shot by crossbones and then he's finished off by
Sharon Carter.
yeah, Sharon Carter, Agent 13, who's brainwashed.
And the still shot of Steve
By Red
dead,
Skull.
Iron Man
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Amy, if you're still watching, I can't answer the call on my computer right now. So just text and we'll pass it along to the listeners. So the Death of the Dream. I see that's what she wants to say. I see a startling lack of wear cap in this talk. You're not wrong. At one point, at multiple
Wait,
points,
what?
Captain America has been a werewolf. Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that one.
You know what? You know what? I agree. It's really good. Actually, this is when they made Sam when Sam Wilson was Captain America, they made him a werewolf at one point. It's so good. I love it. Anyway,
Gonna have to go find those.
so I have a newspaper given to me by Tall Dark Not Ugly on everything.
Yeah.
aka Tom. And I was trying to dig it out, but I think I have it in a box somewhere. It's actual newspaper. They printed a newspaper when Captain America was shot. Which was one of those, it's like Superman being killed. Even though it didn't stick, it was huge. Mm-hmm. You know, it was, you just had this massive battle between all these superheroes, and then there were more than one casualty, but the big one at the end is Steve Rogers, Captain America, the Sentinel of Liberty, dead on the steps of, I believe it's the Capitol.
No, it's not.
He's being taken to a Roman-esque building.
Yeah, some sort of,
He's in
some
Albuquerque.
sort of courthouse.
He's in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Who knows?
That's where he was.
And then the rebirth story that followed later on was actually kind of similar to Secret Empire in a lot of ways. This one is important because you want to know if you want to know why Captain America is still alive. If you want to talk about why Captain America is still alive after all that, he's dead for a while. Bucky Barnes takes over.
Fine, it's the Capitol. Just gonna. Oh, look, all the fake Iron Men. Okay.
Yeah.
So much disappointment.
What was I saying?
Rebirth.
Yeah, so he
Not
stays dead for a while.
Secret.
Bucky Barnes takes over as a very shiny Captain America, latex Captain America, if you will.
Hi.
Who uses a gun. And then we love you too, Amy.
He's got the shiny arm, so
Yeah.
it's got a.
Oh, I bet he's got a shiny arm.
Yeah, but he's got like black pants, like very like muted black
what?
pants. Can you guys stop being weird?
Sorry.
And then
No, I can't.
the rebirth, the rebirth story basically was after all of that.
It was a cap gun. He was fine.
Yeah. Red Skull basically wanted to pull Captain America out of time and replace his mind with his own, because he's always wanted to be in Captain America's body. He's always wanted to be
loves
Captain America.
him.
He does love him. And so by bringing him back, the problem is he then has to go toe-to-toe with him. And when he goes toe-to-toe with him, Cap prevails, and Steve Rogers then comes back as Captain America, which then leads to an awkward point where he's like, no, Bucky, you should still be Cap. I'm going to be Commander Steve Rogers.
But I like that shield.
Yeah, and then
So he got demoted.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. Then it
There's
just-
the answer to your question, Anderson.
That's
it's
Sergeant.
weird.
Got
Is that
demoted.
Sergeant
Yeah.
then? Sergeant?
Yeah, he's not a,
Sergeant Rogers.
So yeah, so those are some of the most important, and there are a ton of Heroes Reborn Cap. We're skipping over a lot of stuff, guys, because this is just 101. This is your intro class.
Intro class.
All right.
Can I ask a question?
Electives.
Gosh.
So I read
Take
Civil
Groot.
War. I'm in the middle of Death of a Dream, which has been intriguing thus far. At the end of Civil War, when he gives himself up, he pulls the mask off and drops it. Punisher picks up the mask.
Frank Castle.
Does that ever become a thing? Because that's
Nope,
disappointed.
They hinted at, and there's the thing. I think they did that specifically because everyone was like, "Oh my God, Punisher is going to become the new Cap." No one saw Bucky taking over, and then Bucky took it over, and then everyone's like, "Oh," because Punisher's always idolized Captain America. Like the reason he joined and went to Vietnam was because of Steve Rogers, and so even though Cap is always this perfect view of what a soldier is supposed to be, Punisher is this messed up, screwed up, damaged, came back, his family was killed, all this other stuff, but still holds Captain America in such high regards that he wanted so badly. He mourned him just as much as anyone.
What was the mask that he went to go pick up?
Yeah,
A deleted scene.
I just remember he picked it up, and you could see.
That doesn't fit.
He got a tiny head.
Man!
Tiny. Dude, it's Marine to Army. What is that? It's a fan. We're not going to talk about that, Amy.
Well, I mean, you
Jesus.
know what Army stands for, right?
Something about Marines yet?
Ain't ready for Marines yet?
Yeah.
Intermilitary jokes. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
My brother's a Marine, so I only got the Marine joke because I don't have any other. I'm sorry.
Oh.
No! Oh man,
This is for all of you.
so disappointed in myself.
Yeah, Amy, we know Punisher was a Marine and we know Cap was Army. What are you doing? Anyway, first experience with Captain America.
Well, actually,
we had dinner.
May I make another statement?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we didn't do our
the
favorites.
death of Captain America.
Yeah.
When I read that, I read that issue and then the following issue where they're all mourning him,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a very different mourning style than when Superman died.
Uh-huh.
But you still left with that same feeling of like Superman and Captain America are these two
Pillars.
yes that basically hold up the entire superhero community. And it even as fictional characters, you read that and like, man, they mean so much to us.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do without them? That those characters can have that big of an emotional. I mean, they're fictional. They die. You know they're probably coming back because nobody dies in comic books except for a select few.
Except for Captain Marvel.
You don't know that.
Captain Marvel died.
The original.
Oh, the original Captain.
Yeah, Marvel.
He's never coming back.
He got cancer. He did.
And
He did.
Uncle Ben.
He did too. You okay?
I'm sorry. Anyway, so I want to throw out like. I almost like the way they mourned Cap better. It was more intimate than like this big parade they did for Superman, which made more sense for what they were doing there. But
I had that poster where like all the villains and heroes are with his coffin, Superman's coffin.
Gonna have it?
Yeah.
Sweet. Put it up in my son's room.
So, let's do favorite stories, and then we'll talk about our first experiences with Cap.
Okay.
Who's got their favorite story, their favorite Cap story, and it could be one of the ones that we talked about. It could be one of the key ones.
I think it's, you know what? It's not one of the ones we talked about, but it connects to the new Secret Empire.
Okay.
Right after that Secret Empire run is done, they did like the Secret Empire, the one shot where like, hey, we're victorious, and like they have the talk between Steve-O and whatever his name's. Steve Rogers and evil Steve Rogers.
Did you say Steve-O?
I like that.
Steve
I heard it once. So anyway, and then
mustache.
there was like issue 6 something where Captain America was like Steve Rogers. He had the shield, but he wasn't really wearing the uniform, and he was just going on a road trip across America and rediscovering himself.
Yeah.
And
I really like that.
I really like those stories because it was at that point I loved Secret Empire and all the stuff leading up to it, but there was also that plus Civil War 2 was just like so heavy and so kind of depressing almost. It was like, this is a nice change of optimism, and yes, he's dealing with the consequences, which I like that they left that there were consequences, like everything's better because of this. It just felt good, and it was like 2 or 3 issues. They were almost all one shots, him in one town discovering there's some evil and fighting it off, him in another town discovering the same. Like, it built up a little bit, but it was almost different individual stories at the same time. It was great.
Oh, I really like that. I thought that was wonderful. Steve's, you've had time to think. You can say like any ones that have been said previously. Like I said, Civil War was mine. You can also say Civil War.
It was, because it was the first story I ever read with Captain America in it.
Yeah.
It was our...
Oh, so it's killing 2 birds, 1 stone. That's your first experience.
Yeah, it was our second episode, I believe.
Yes.
Second episode ever where we talked about Civil War. Or was it?
Couple in. No, because Winter Soldier
First was Civil War.
I thought Winter Soldier was first.
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier was
movie
first, and then Civil
your
War
first.
was
Yeah.
We read that as an assignment. It was my first actual time reading a Captain America story. I wouldn't say it's my first experience because we did that, but my first reading experience, yes, was Civil War, and that story was great. I actually went out to find all the one-offs and read as many of those as I could. I got about halfway through.
Yeah, it was
about
a lot.
halfway through.
A lot. Mark Millar, man.
But it gave like a good
Mark Millar.
backstory to like
He's good.
Tony and Peter to Cap. But yeah, Civil War was
Awesome.
my first written experience.
I feel you.
Of Steve.
Dig it. Nice. So now, first experience overall. So now, because it's not.
Oh yeah.
That was what was your first experience?
Mr. Chris Evans.
Oh.
Because I saw the movies before I read the comics, and it was First Avenger. It was my first experience of Captain America as a whole. So Chris Evans will always be my Captain America.
He's gonna be most of ours. He's great. Manderson.
I want to say when I was a young lad,
Oh.
a friend of mine who was more into Marvel had a couple Captain America comics lying around.
Named
and
Snavid.
He let me borrow one. I probably spent the night and I just like picked it up and read it. I don't remember the story.
Yeah.
I don't remember what was going on. This was
Wear cap.
It could have been Werecap, yeah. This was probably back in like the mid '90s, so whatever was happening.
Great
then.
time, great time.
And I don't remember the story at all. The one that I do remember is Captain America: The First Avenger movie, and like I want to say
He's still skinny.
back then, I thought I was like, man, I love Iron Man was my favorite Marvel character. I wanted to say that, but in reality, once I saw that movie, it was Cap. I wouldn't admit it to my wife because she can't be right, but she was right. Captain America was my favorite Marvel character.
I like to say I'm morally inspired by Cap, but with Tony's big mouth. That's what I consider myself.
Nice.
Is it because you have a big mouth?
Yeah.
That's fair.
So
What was your?
my first experience
Was dinner?
was dinner. It was lovely.
Did Chris cook?
Yeah,
It's good.
it was fantastic. So I have a stack.
Whipped cream.
No, God. So I have a stack of comics. It's somewhere at my parents' house, and they were the first couple of comics that I ever received. There was a Sonic the Hedgehog comic.
Nice.
My El Hombre de Araña, my Spider-Man in Spanish. It's Tom McFarlane.
Está, tío Ben?
But it's sí, tío Ben. Muy malo. So it's my Spanish Spider-Man, a Sonic the Hedgehog, a random Hulk comic, and then
Did Hulk smash?
Hulk did. He smashed a lot. And then one other, they were fighting the Beyonder, but it was like one of those random like promotional comics. Like it had nothing to do with what was canon. Wasn't tied to anything. I think it was like promoting like
Gillette
candy or a video game maybe.
Gillette shaving.
But it was my first experience. It was the Beyonder, and it was She-Hulk, Hulk, Captain America, and a couple others were El Hombre de Araña. Actually, I think he was in the black suit at that point. It was random why he was in the black suit because the black suit wasn't a thing at that point, but I think it was because of the Beyonder. So yeah, it didn't stick. You know, it wasn't like it didn't like ignite my love for Captain America or ignite my love for comic books. Really,
It was Spanish Spider-Man. I got you.
Yes, sí. El Hombre de la España is actually what got me de la Araña. Sorry, in Espanol,
like Italian Spider-Man on YouTube. That's okay.
But yeah, that was my first experience with Cap. It was kind of just, you know, it was just in passing.
It was fine.
And who knew that I would become the rabid Captain America
That's your
fan?
guy.
That's my guy. That's my Steve Rogers. He's my boy. My boy Steve. So that is about gonna wrap it up for
What are we doing our next 101 on?
this week's episode. We are going to be talking about
Raz Al Ghul.
yes, and we'll talk about how in the Arabic pronunciation and
Is that going to be the official
Hebrew-
Crusader pronunciation? We have to say.
I'm
Raz.
going with Raz.
No, not the rolling R, just Raz Al Ghul.
yeah.
I'm going with
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Amy also threw in her first experience punching Hitler as she was in a part of a collection in the late 90s in a library. That's cool. I
That
like
is pretty cool, actually.
And Kyron, no one watched the 90s Cat movie because we're all, you know, normal, sane people. And we're also not as old as you. Ow!
I mean, you're definitely not as old as he is. As Steve's might be.
I love you.
Yeah, it's true.
Steve's an old man.
So I have a quote that I'm gonna drop at the end. And
Okay.
you know what the quote is.
Are we next Monday with the cross?
Yeah, but I'm just telling you.
Okay.
The quote that it's gonna be.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, just because I know you like to.
Oh, that one.
Yeah,
I won't.
I don't want you to take it.
I'm not gonna take it.
Anyway, so next week's episode.
When you treat
So next week's episode, we're gonna be what's the word? We're gonna have a crossover event. We're gonna have a couple of episodes.
What?
We are going to. What's the word I'm looking for? Join forces. That's what it is. With
who?
Our brother sister podcast.
Over in SoCal?
Down in SoCal.
Down in
Nerd
SoCal.
On the podcast. The podcast that Tom started when he moved down to LA and left us behind.
Dude.
But Corey's cool.
Yeah.
And the rest of the group is really cool.
My best friend.
So we got Corey, Ali, Josh, thank you, Caitlin, and I don't think they got all kinds of people down there now. I don't even know who.
They got a whole crew. They got an expanding
whole crew. Anyway, we're gonna be doing a little bit of a joint effort with Nerd On the podcast. We're gonna do one with them on their platform, one with us on our platform. It's gonna be great. You should check it out. We're gonna be talking about The Dark Knight.
Next Monday, the
Monday.
Capeless crew meets Nerd On in the crossover event of the season. Crossover. In the crossover event of the season.
There it is.
Filmed only in Ireland, sir.
Anyway.
Wait, we're going to find Island?
We're going to Ireland for this.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yes.
Sons of
Wait.
Anarchy did. I mean,
Is this... Whose tab is this going on?
Nerd on.
yeah.
So why am I not allowed in the safe house? Because I think you had a little bit something going on at your house.
Aren't you swimming right now?
Yeah. 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 Anyway.
To tell us in GIF form.
So, let's have a 20-minute conversation. So, that's about going to wrap it up for this week's episode. Hey, my name is David Barry at DR Barry on varying social media platforms. I am joined by comrades in arms. To the right, we have...
If you get hurt, get up.
Damn. That was mine.
If you get killed, shake it off. I don't take berries, so I took Manderson's. There it is. This is the Zorian winning for you, Steves. And now to echo what I just said, Manderson.
I can still do this all day.
There it is.
Anyway, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, is a GIF worth 10,000 words?
Did Cap say that?
No, he did not. I was just... Anyway,
I got that reference.
I am Manderson at Son of Mander on Twitter and Instagram. This guy.
Here we go.
Yeah, Kyron, no. Amy, you're always loud in the safe house. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, our sponsors before we real fast. Boom, Beard Balm Brush. Use the code CAPELESS. Get 15% off your Beard Balm Brush. Go to Computer Booter and mention us. Get 10% off your computer repair, retro game, video game lounge. Go to Empire's Comics Vault. They won't give you a discount, but we love them. Go to thecriticaldice.com. Get 15% off using the code CAPELESS. Get some dice.
You can get 6 sets of dice for like
Six sets of dice.
$12 with that code.
And Amy, your hair is great, but I'm not saying yours is bad. I'm just saying mine's amazing. Hey, so I'm gonna leave you with this.
That's because he uses the Beard Balm Brush in his hair.
My favorite Cap quote.
Here it is.
When he was written by one J. Michael Straczynski. You ready for this?
Do it.
It was actually it was used in Civil War. It was adapted, which I really appreciated. Here we go. Doesn't matter what the press says. Doesn't matter what the politicians or the mob say. Doesn't matter if the whole country decides that something wrong is something right. This nation was founded on one principle above all else. The requirement that we stand up for what we believe, no matter the odds or the consequences. When the mob and the press and the whole world tell you to move, your job is to plant yourself like a tree next to the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move. Thank you for hanging out. If you're on Twitch, drop a follow, give us a subscribe, so on and so forth. YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Podcast app. Hey, so for the Capeless Crusaders, including Amy at IGNURobot and Tom at Tall Dark Not Ugly on everything. Good night.